Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Vopelka, and I would like to present you today how we are delivering the Treat Me Like You Know Me experience for enterprise level companies. We are called DataSentics PX, and we are backed by a DataSentics group, which is a bunch of more than 80 people, mostly data scientists and machine learning experts, and cloud engineers and data engineers, and also people like me or people like myself, the product owners of a specific solution for a specific business. So as you can see, we are focusing on four things, but today we will be talking about the 360 personalized customer experience product, which we are developing and implementing for several companies. You can see some of our clients in the right bottom part of the screen. And let's start. So the personalized experience, when we say this out loud, often it comes to our mind the services such as Netflix, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube Premium. These kind of services are evolving about the personalization. The personalization is basically a core value of these services, and this is not only a case of these, let's say, purely digital services. It can also be seen in a financial industry, for example. One example is here. We can see the Revolut. This personalization trend overall is changing one thing and dramatically shifting what customers are expecting from your brand. And this is what is happening nowadays. So personalization as such, the meaning of its word is actually being shifted quite a lot in the past couple of years. So customers are now having quite higher expectations from your service, from the way how they are treated. So often these companies are having one big advantage, and that's actually the physical touch with the customers. They often tend to have some legacy network of branches or some point of sales and stuff like this. And these channels or touch points with the customers can be turned into an advantage rather than liability, how it's perceived quite often. So when we say 360 personalized experience, what do we actually mean by it? It's a combination of different useful content for your customers. It can be either educative, explaining why they should use your service and what for, and guiding them through the entire relationship with your company. So it's a lot of content, but it needs to be distributed in a smart way to a segment of one, in right time, right channel, right content. This old marketing principle, right? But nowadays, what's different is the technical possibilities, how we can do this in scale for your hundreds or millions of your customers. And this is exactly what we were doing for the major bank in the CEE region, which is Česká spořitelna. And we are actually, it's our long life client, and we've been doing for them exactly this. So we used a lot of machine learning techniques and AI to learn from the data which kind of messages we should address to the market. So we created a lot of personalized messages for online advertising, and then the people who were interacting with those messages were there follow up automatically in another channels such as internet banking, and all the communication stayed personalized for their specific profile and current actual interests. And this all led also then to an email follow-up, and based on this, there was also a call center follow-up. And some of the customers, of course, purchased the products because this was the, let's say, a longer-term goal. And this beautifully demonstrates the 360 campaigns and 360 personalized campaigns towards your customers, how they should be done in 2021. And there are some hard facts why this approach actually works. So this approach brought not only more conversions than, let's say, traditional one-off single channel fragmented communication. It also improved the level of engagement with the customers. They were more engaged with the content, and it also led to increase of the conversion rates. That's also important because it turns out that the customers understood the products way better and were able to convert more. So this is a beautiful case study, but how we actually achieved it and why this is not a standard status quo of every enterprise these days, there are several facts and several reasons for that. Because in order to create such 360 personalized experience, you need to orchestrate the work of many different teams and many different roles and specialists and experts across your entire company. So typically, to build such a campaign, you would need to coordinate basically 30 to 50 people, and that's quite a lot of people. And another problem, which is that the technologies are often fragmented. Typically in digital environment, there is a lot of fragmentation between the apps and online ads, and it's often quite disconnected from offline channels. So this is quite a problem. So if we look at it, look at typical situation of an enterprise currently in the market, there are, let's say, three layers of this onion that you need to solve by your product. First layer is that you need to get rid of the siloed customer 360 data. Then you need to change the processes, and then you need to change how the people are thinking. And only then, if you achieve all these changes, then it can spark such innovation in your company and establish a new way of working. So how to change it? We have developed a product for it, and this product has quite several modules because it's not a trivial thing to do. So first module is pre-built customer 360 data model. This is addressing the problem of customer 360 fragmented data, because we are bringing into companies pre-built models that they can, of course, contribute and they can customize and build on, but this rapidly speeds up all these projects that typically takes years and a lot of investments. So we are able to speed up those projects rapidly. So we've created this let's say building block, and automatically on top of these building blocks, we are able to generate the so-called customer journeys. But it's not like the customer journeys as you know them from marketing. It's actual customer journeys constructed from the real hard data about the interactions with your customers across all the 360 channels. And now that you have the data in place, you can start developing and learning and using the data you have. And if you look at the typical data landscape that enterprises have, so let's take financial institutions such as a retail bank. So this institutions have typically billions of card transactions, a lot of data from their websites and apps, a lot of data from physical branches, and a lot of advertising online going on. This is a lot of data. So to use some kind of rule-based approach, like if something happened, then do that, this is simply not working, and it will not work for 90% of the cases. So you would left a lot of insights behind. So this situation is a perfect match for applying AI approach and creating and leveraging the technological capabilities of today's world. So first, you can, for example, create your customer interests. You can derive interests from the behavior of the customers in relation to a different customers. So you define the interest only for those customers who are significantly more interested than rest of the population, for example. You can learn from similar data like transactions that the customers are likely to spend a lot of money on taxi services or luxury goods, or they like to travel a lot. Or you can learn things from digital data about their actual needs, that they are searching for a specific answer, or they are stuck in some process, and so on. Or you can learn from advertising their, let's say, lifestyle interests. Or at last but not least, you can learn from unstructured data such as call recordings. You can automatically translate it into and analyze it using natural language processing. And this creates a food for your algorithms So you can not just segment the people basically using the machine learning, but you can also predict the behavior of the customers. And you can predict basically anything because the underlying data are prepared. So you can predict whether they will start to do something more, whether they will start to use your app more often and therefore purchase more products and so on. On the other hand, this is not the end, right? So you still have segmented your customers, you know what the customers want, but this needs to be a live organism or ecosystem. So therefore, we developed AI and machine learning workflow. This is a product that enables entire data teams that you already have in place. Often it's a very smart people, but they simply don't have the environment. So one of our modules are exactly this environment for them. So they can leverage the pre-built 360 data model. So they save dramatic time of data wrangling. They can do the analysis much faster because this environment is based on the state-of-art technologies, and they can also contribute to production. So this is how you solve the data underneath that. But to solve the processes, to solve it, we have developed the app that is demonstrating the new workflow, how to design your communication towards your customers. So first you select the business objective. Then you create your first 360 degree campaign. And you define the customers who did a desired action. So for example, provided you a lead on your website for a digital loan. And immediately, in a second, you are learning the characteristics and what were the drivers for them to do such thing. So you are learning immediately the key insights of those customers, and you can manually select the key characteristics to build up a potential buying segments, basically the other people who would purchase your product. Or you can simply use our AI to generate the best segments for you. So you end up having these we call it personas. You can save them, share them, start using them, and start exporting them to your existing marketing technologies. This is how we are solving the siloed technologies in your company, because we are not bringing another one. We are just blending and leveraging what you already have in-house. And then you can manage it over time to deliver the real 360 personalized experience. So you can orchestrate to which technology you are sending which data. So this is how we are solving those processes. And only then you can create a time for your people, for your smart people to be more creative, more collaborative, to solve this clash of KPIs, different language. They can better start understanding each other, and therefore they can be innovative and improve their processes dramatically and bring more business results. So this is what we call DataSentics PX360. This is our product. It's a combination of the pre-built models, AI workflows, machine learning segmentations, ad workflows, and this is how you achieve business results. And the best thing in the last seconds is that this is fitted for any enterprise because everything is deployed into your environment, so you have full transparency and ownership. There is no vendor lock-in, so you can operate all the solutions yourself. The products are pre-built, so the implementation is way faster, and you are leveraging all of our know-how through the products, and it's modular because so it can complement your active initiatives. You don't need to kill any other projects. It just nicely blends in, and we often see that some companies already have similar modules under development, so you can just accelerate it, not replace it. So that's our product. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm looking forward to Q&A.
Okay, we got 2 questions from the jury members, and thanks, David, for being the guinea pig and the first guy doing this. It's always the most difficult one. Appreciate that. For those who follow you, if I come on screen, that means your time's about up. So begin to slow down. If I pop on the screen, that'll be the sign for just to wrap up. So first question is from Alain Bruchard, who is out of Zurich. He said personalized means not anonymous. How do you manage data privacy for the data feed?
Yeah, so since it's built in the infrastructure of a customer, it's a similar management of the privacy as they are managing it currently for a partial data for the systems. So this is one of the key things why it's relevant for enterprises.
Okay. Second question from Subhairoti Bosa. How is the data captured?
So this is very specific channel per channel. So often we just take the data from some existing technology that is managing the channel. And then we, in the client's environment, we stitch it together and do all these things. So it's technology per technology. So we are leveraging what you already have in-house, basically.
Okay. And my question, and the last question, I think, is are you able to force yourself to put a ROI, return on investment, into this type of thing? How would you, if I forced you to do it, how would you define that?
So when we cooperate with customers, it often breaks down to specific projects, solving partial things. Like you can imagine in a bank, you just want to grow a number of investments you are selling. So that's one specific use case. Or you can sell loans. So the ROI, it's basically very fragmented. But overall, we always implement it using some projects that have clear ROI. So typically some pilot project for a couple of months, and if it proves bringing value, then you make it business as usual.
Okay, two more questions to go fast. Tobias Fausch has asked, is the data stored in a separate database?
Yeah, we could call it a database. It's actually a data lake, but it's in the client's environment. So this is how we leverage the cloud platforms these days, because there is great hype about Microsoft Azure and AWS services. So we are building everything in the client's environment. So they often have there are some small differences, but we can say it's one database, one big database, yet it's data lake, but it's technical difference.
One last jury question from Christina David. What new channels are emerging in capturing customer data? What do you have in beta?
So we see a big growth in digital channels, especially. So all these tiny interactions in digital apps, with digital advertising, like who saw your ad or who clicked on a specific button on your page, who spent like 15 seconds reading this particular content. All these tiny micro interactions. This is big value, and there is a lot of insights about our customers hidden in it, and that's exactly what we are focusing on.
Great. We're gonna we do have one or two more questions. We're gonna cut it off though to keep ourselves on schedule. The fact that there are 4 or 5 questions is a sign of interest, which is great. So David Vopelka, DataSentics, thanks very much for the presentation. Good luck in the vote in the afternoon, and we'll keep fingers crossed for you. And we're on to the next presentation. Thank you very much, David.